Taking Clegg of Soul in a water dropper, then slowly dropping. Like it started with like 10 drops 10 years ago, then it goes 9 drops 9 years ago. Then about 5 drops in, you get to Nickelback.
A lot of times I find it hard to listen to commercial radio just because it's Nickelback Pink, Nickelback Pink, Nickelback Pink.
How could you call yourself a disc jockey at a commercial radio station? Like, what part of that is okay when you say that out loud? I am a disc jockey at a Clear Channel radio station. I press buttons.
In order to understand today's radio industry, we interviewed 4 people who've experienced different ends of the spectrum.
Hi, my name is Ben Clack. You take them to the radio station, and then it would be local hits, and the guy would pay the $45 because you'd be like, dude, here's $50. And that would be a local hit, and that's how things existed. That's how, like, all of this stuff worked, and it doesn't work that way anymore.
DJ could pick up on a song or a band and almost pretty much break a band because they liked the song and had the ability to play it if they liked it, which is not the case anymore.
I've made the decision before to put in music that I don't really care for, but that's part of my job.
Right.
I don't. My iPod is at least 50% of it is really different from the radio.
My name is Kelly Reed. I'm the head music director at WKNC. If I can sit down with an album and listen to it through the entire time and want to listen to it again, and it gets stuck in my head, and I wake up in the morning and I hear that song in my head, that's kind of how I decide.
Do you think that having radio play can make or break an artist's career?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
As far as how big you can get, I think radio has a play in that, but you're certainly not limited to not having a good career if you don't have success at radio.
Well, it's all about the exposure. You know, we've seen artists that get on the radio station that haven't made much of a difference, and then artists that do make much of a difference. We can monitor SoundScan sales, we can monitor digital sales, you know, iTunes sales, and sometimes you see a direct correlation.
I've talked to people at record labels who get their artist on Morning Becomes Eclectic at KCRW. They're in the Santa Monica, LA area. Get their artist on that show. Record sales will shoot up for 2 weeks by the thousands.
The script, when we started playing that, Break Even, it showed in sales and single downloads. It went up dramatically, and there's nobody else in town playing the script Break Even.
When the Love Language first put out their EP and their recorded in Stu's bathroom, you know, sampler, we played the hell out of it, and Jim Romeo liked it and listened to it, and it picked them up on touring.
That's a song that we can own, and we can take responsibility for, like, the success in sales.
The larger Clear Channel stations is one giant station with people who have no musical background up there, like hitting the spacebar on a computer every 25 minutes, then acting like Gonzo whenever the microphone goes live. The people have no cultural interest or impact.
Should have bought my flippy floppies. Gaga is on.
Process now, it's a kind of a dog and pony show, but you go, you know, well, at least what we had to do. Essentially, you fly all over the country. If you're not touring at the time, you're flying all over the country, 2 and 3 stations a day, and playing in conference rooms. We play acoustically for as little as 2 or 3 people to as many as 10 to 15. And they get pizza, and there's like a lunch, and you're playing for people in the conference room. It's kind of awkward. You're most of the time sleepy from playing the night before or doing whatever you've been doing, and you're under fluorescent lights in the middle of the day, and you don't know them or they don't know you, and you're trying to say, hey, look at us, here's a song, play us on your station.
from what I know, is technically defined as a DJ or a radio station directly benefiting, mostly monetarily, from the airplay of an artist.
I think a lot of people enjoy being in radio because some of the perks, you know, you're not in radio because you get paid a ton of money. I love going to concerts, so that's definitely a perk. Interviewing artists, that's a perk. Meeting people, I mean, that's kind of cool.
You go to conferences and you go to these, you thing, you're trying to learn more, expand creative thinking, push forward movement in the industry.
Everybody feels really connected and a part of this shit.
And when those conferences are over, you go and you sit and have drinks.
Then PR agencies, record labels, and like all this other stuff, they'll rent out the club for like 6 hours and then get like all the hot bands.
And promoters rub elbows with labels, and labels and promoters rub elbows with you, and they want you to, you know.
And then they're like, let's get them wasted, and then put them together for like 20 minutes, and then get everybody to run because it's a tight schedule because you don't really want them hanging out too much. And then they control it and they look like geniuses.
Well, I think Clear Channel gets a bad rap. Clear Channel Communications as a company gets a bad rap. Also, I guess musically. But not every Clear Channel radio station operates the same. And granted, a lot of songs you'll hear on top 40 stations across the country are all similar. Just because what music is today. I mean, just because you hear a Taylor Swift song on more than one top 40 radio station if you're traveling in the country doesn't mean we're cookie cutter.
Radio is important because it is one of the only entities in the music industry that is separate from the industry. When you play an artist, it benefits the artist. Every other entity in the music industry makes money off the artist.
There is no legitimacy in arts funding. You can't get funding as an artist. And you can't get funding as a musician. It's all dependent on 20-year-old girls who think you're cute to pay your fucking power bill. And that's a sad reality.
You would think that with the amount of new bands there are and new good bands that it would be the opposite. There would be a lot of diversity in stations, but there's not. Build the wall. You're fine with hearing the same stuff over and over again, or you'd rather not. And I'm on the rather not bandwagon.
One of the best things about being a DJ is blending a song, man. I mean, making that like drum beat roll in with a whistle or something, or making that reverb hit, an awesome drum roll in the next song. That is the best thing about being a DJ.